I was born into this industry. A lot of people have other degrees and other things, even if you went into theater arts and all of that, and then you just happen to be in it, right? I literally was born into it. If they ban filmmaking today, the only thing I can do is cleaner. I don't have certificates for anything else, all right? So it's not trying to prove a point. I need for the industry to be able to move forward so that I can express myself and so that I can be able to exploit the talent that God has given me, but also be able to feed my family. I'm the director, producer, executive producer, co-writer, cinematographer, part of sound design. I cannot say everything.
That's a lot.
Principal photography officially started on January 2021. That's the first half. No, not the first half, just the first part, and the second part was July 2021. And then January 2022 was when principal photography, actually February 2022 is when it ended, January to February. So it was shot in stages. The story is an entire blanket of a world, and that we just took specific parts of it, the parts that we could make, given the resources that we had, and made that. So I'm not in that space where, I have to pander to what some people think is supposed to work. And that's why it's probably taking 3 years for the show to come out.
So now feels like the right time?
I didn't determine when it would come out. It's just like the casting of this. I didn't cast it. God casted this thing, and God decided when it would come out. Come out. I didn't, and it will sound like I'm trying to pander to it. No, I actually don't know. When I'm watching episodes, I'm like, there's no way I had the sense to be able to cast this person. I'm not that smart.
You're often save you, your guy.
If you're not the character, you're not the character. If you're not ready to put the work into being the character, you're not the character. It's not a celebrity contest. It's acting. And acting is work. So I would always pick actors. And it also took this long because I didn't have stars. All right? It took this long for anyone to pick it up, to agree and believe in it, because I didn't have stars. Yeah, that was traumatic. Just being able to experience people telling you something you believe in and you walk in and shit. It doesn't make any sense. So, but I would do it. I don't think I would change anything about it. All right? I would always work with people who have not just talent, but are ready to put in the work. Because talent isn't everything, contrary to what most people think. All right, I would pick someone who seems like they're still growing and are maybe at 50% of their abilities, over someone who's 150. Right? If the 50% person is ready to put in the work. All right, because the work would make that 50% look like 1,000, right? Because it's not cameras or lighting that makes good films or good narrative work, right? It's an honest approach to telling a story. It's not even the story. I can tell the story about a stone, how a stone came from here and ended up downstairs, right? How honest are you? And honesty is subjective, right? But to you, to yourself, right? How honest are you to the story? We discovered the themes after shooting.
Oh, interesting.
All right, I don't think I advise for people to write like that, but we didn't write with a genre in mind. So till now, it's still confusing what the genre is.
Yeah.
Right? Because we developed, the first time we shot and the second time we shot, we developed characters. And we developed the world. And so we picked characters and then took them on a journey within the world. It's the experiences that the characters have been through that now begin to determine the the themes. So from abuse, both domestic abuse and authority abuse, to spirituality. Right? It's really big on spirituality on both sides of the divide. And by both sides of the divide, I mean both Christianity and just, well, jazz.
So this sounds to me like a mirror series where you watch and see a bit of yourself.
Yes, it is definitely 100% that, but it takes that a little further. I don't think I know how to tell stories if there's no personal part to it. But this in particular is very, very personal for me. It's very personal for my family. It's also very personal for a lot of people around. There are people who would be triggered, would find it offensive. Not offensive in the sense that you're trying to go out of your way to offend people
them.
and all that, just because it's close to home. In the sense, I wanted to also be able to have that effect, because some of these stories, you see them on blogs on a daily basis, and you say, hey, yeah, and you move on. There's the perception that Nigerian audience, you have to spoon feed them. I don't agree with that. Not in the least. So I'm waiting to see what the results would be like. All right. Maybe I've been deleting myself all these years, and all right. So yeah, lots of Easter eggs, lots of I don't think that it is possible for you to watch episode 2 and get the entire story. You have to literally watch it from episode 1 and pay attention from episode 1 to episode 2, because the slight, very subtle information that is in there that if you don't get, then you won't understand where the story is. I mean, it's not going to stop you from enjoying it, but then you'd get to a place where there are a lot of things that you won't understand. So for every question you want to ask about, I don't understand this doesn't make any sense, it's actually inside. You just need to maybe go back and watch it again. And so if you watch it, it essentially leaves you on a cliffhanger where there's a lot of questions. That's probably where maybe the biggest issue would be, just a lot of questions. But I wanted people to be able to ask a lot of questions. A, to be able to guarantee that we will do a season 2, and but B, to also be able to put to test just the perception of what people think the Nigerian audience can take and what they can't take.